Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the next training session on DEAMS and DEAMS Discover Reviewer. Previous sessions have included the status of funds and the SDH, and today we're going to cover some other additional reports that add benefit to running. You notice one thing that lacked in the SDH was a DOV. It's something that's needed for JVs, etc. And this is where we can try and go get those. So just a reminder, I hope you've added now under Edit Favorites, you've added a right-click Discover Reviewer. So we're just going to go ahead and right-click and open that into a new tab. If you've been in there previously, it will just be back to whatever you did search last, and for us it was the STH. So now we're just going to go up there. In the first report I'm going to run, I'm just going to type in FMA. FMA will search for any workbook with the FMA in the title, and there's going to be a few there that are added. So as you can go down and see, there's several, but what we're going to concern ourselves with is right here, the FMA DEAMS Vendor Payment History. So I'm just going to go ahead and focus in on that so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to expand it out because it comes in expanded when you do click on that focus in. Just one tab, just click on Vendor Payments and allow it to bring up the parameter screen. Now that the parameter screen is up, I have gone ahead and entered my 3-digit DEAMS site ID, and F7 Papa is me, it's 1/15th Fighter Wing. All of these percent signs were blank. A tip I got from the DEAMS help desk is occasionally there's a glitch on this table where adding those percent signs will help it run. You notice that this is not your OE, it's just an OAC and O-band, so leave your F off, and then your RCCCI leave blank. I do look at my entire fiscal year for earliest payments, and then this will project out a few days, so what I typically do is just add about, 5-6 days whenever I feel is rounded error, so I don't have the system thinking for itself, and then I go ahead and click go. This report will take a while to run occasionally depending on how the tables are processing, so I'm going to let it go ahead and run, and I'm going to use the advent of technology to fast forward to the end. So now our DEAMS vendor payment report has gone ahead and refreshed, so I'm going to just go ahead and go through the export process that you've seen before. Just by clicking on export, changing the next drop down to Microsoft Excel Workbook, allowing it to refresh one time, clicking on export, and then saving it as. So just go ahead and click on Viewer Save, and remember in DEAMS we always save as. Save it over our current location, and then we watch it tick away until it's ready to open. Once it's ready, go ahead and click on Open. So now I've just gone ahead and enabled content. Remember that anytime that your header is not your top row in DEAMS, we want to just highlight those, right click on the row number and click on Delete. And now we have our headers up at our top. For the purposes of showing you more detail, I'm just going to go ahead and filter out this document. But here's our DEAMS site ID. There should be your installation name. Here's nice because it's your payee. It's all of your different payees all the way down. So any of your vendors that have been named, here you go. There they all are for this period of time that you ran it on. The convenient here is the supplier number is also the same supplier number that you'll find in DEAMS when you go into the Java environment. Here's your PO and your contract number. Now understand that your PO may or may not be a MIPR or more depending on how your contract is cut, but likely these are going to be very, very similar. Here's your CLIN structure. So CLIN 1, CLIN 2, CLIN 3, CLIN 4, CLIN 7, 10, 20, however they need to bill it. And then here's your ACRN. So this is all important for wide area workflow. Understand that any issue that we used to have with wide area workflow will show up here. There cannot be the same invoice because remember DEAMS is nothing more than a database. So vendors must submit, even for duplicate payments, different numbers of invoices all the way down. They cannot have duplicates. There's your vendor type. There's the total invoice detail for that billing. There's your disbursement voucher number, and this is your DOV. This is the number you've been looking for to perform those JVs or those 1081s. The date that the payment was processed and it was confirmed, and then it will give you your PATEO data all the way across through your expenditure type and your ADSN. There is an invoice header description, and then there's detailed description on each line item. So this is convenient when you're looking up your POs on your SDH to find out exactly what they were. And then you're going to be able to find whether or not there's a manual invoice entry or if there's wide area workflow. So this is very, very useful to find those payments on your SDH and then go in and find the DOV that's associated with those payments, or to look at CLIN structure and see what billings have happened. We'll move on to another type of very beneficial report.